What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So as per the title below, make $75,000 in 3 weeks. So I'm going to cut to the chase. So the way you're going to do this is by reaching out to a small to medium sized business within your area and offer them to do either an economy, an efficiency, or an effectiveness review. Now I'm going to get into what each one of these is right now. So I have my notes here. So the first thing we're going to get into is the efficiency reviews. The efficiency review, the focus is on how well resources are used to achieve a business goal. So the typical questions you're going to ask to do that review are we using our resources, including time, money, labor, and materials optimally? How can we minimize waste and reduce costs without sacrificing quality? Are our processes streamlined and free of unnecessary steps? Now, some of the metrics you can report on are output per unit of input. So basically, units produced per labor hour, cost per unit of production, time taken to complete a task or process, and resource utilization rates. Now, the objective for the review is to maximize output while minimizing input, ensuring that resources are not wasted and operations are run as smoothly as possible. So an example of this would be an efficiency review in a manufacturing plant might look at ways to reduce energy consumption per unit produced, streamline production processes to eliminate bottlenecks, or automate repetitive tasks to save labor hours. Now, the reason I used the factory example is that it's just simpler when you're working with physical products. The same exact review criteria would apply for a service-based sector. It's just the treatment would be different. And in a later upload, if you guys actually want a breakdown of the strategy and the framework, I can do that. Just leave me in the comments interested, and I will go over that in another upload. But this is basically what an efficiency review is, right? It's basically you're offering the business an assessment of how much they're getting out of their inputs. Okay, so labor, materials, time, money, etc. And like I said, it's a very, very simple review, and literally within 3 weeks you can make $75,000 off of this. That's what typically management consulting firms will charge for their clients, small to medium enterprise clients. And you can do it over 3 weeks, 1 week where you're gathering requirements, information, conducting your assessment to gain a better understanding of where the business is. The second week where you're doing the field work, so you're actually doing your review and arriving at your conclusions. And your third week where you develop a report and present on your findings. And again, it's very, very straightforward. If you work with small to medium businesses, you don't need a lot of technical know-how, as long as you understand basic concepts like budgeting and basically understanding basic concepts like benchmarking and researching. You can do this. And again, if you guys are interested, I can most certainly get into more detail with respect to strategy and framework in another upload. But that is it for the efficiency review, which is also known as an optimization review, is another name you can use when you're actually offering the service. Next, we have an economy review. So economy reviews focus on the cost of resources and ensuring that purchases and expenditures are made in a cost-effective manner. Okay, so key questions you're asking are we getting the best value for our money? Are we negotiating favorable terms with suppliers? Can we find lower cost alternatives without compromising on quality? So the typical metrics you'd be looking at here would include cost savings from procurement practices, comparison of actual costs to budgeted costs, price comparisons for similar goods and services. Okay, so the objective here is to achieve cost savings and ensure that the business is spending money wisely, acquiring resources at the best possible prices. All right. So an example would be an economy review might analyze the procurement process of office supplies, comparing different vendors to find the best price for quality products or evaluating bulk purchasing options to reduce unit costs. So again, this is something that you can easily do hitting the ground running. And again, something that consulting firms, management consultants offer. Easy $75,000 within 3 weeks, and all you really need to do is be able to sit down online and do some researching, perhaps get on the phone, call some suppliers and get quotes, and compare to what the business you are dealing with or offering your service to is currently doing. It's really that simple, but you can charge a lot for it. And the reason is that it's it's simple in principle, but the execution, like I said, the strategy and the framework to execute this is where you're gonna spend some time working, as well as quite a bit of thought process goes into this. You're really getting paid not necessarily for the execution as much as the thought process behind it. And again, within 3 weeks, the initial week, you're going to do an assessment, understanding what the business needs are, the area in which they need to scope more economy, and understand the vendors they're dealing with at this time, just going off of this example. Then the second week, you're going to go ahead and do your research, market research, assessing other vendors and reaching out to them for quotes for similar services or goods. And then the last week, you're going to do your benchmarking and basically documenting your findings and then giving a presentation on that. And again, as I've stated, with the efficiency optimization review, for the economy review, if you guys are interested in the strategy and the framework for this, leave me down in the comment the word interested, and I'll make sure to make another upload on this. All right, and last but not least are effectiveness reviews. So an effectiveness review focuses on the extent to which business goals and objectives are being met. So key questions are going to be, are we achieving our strategic goals? Are our products or services meeting customer needs and expectations? How well are we performing against our key performance indicators, so KPIs? And the metrics with respect to this will include achievement of specific business objectives, so example, market share, revenue targets, customer satisfaction and feedback, success rates of projects and initiatives, and return on investment, or ROI. So the objective here is to ensure that the business is successful in fulfilling its mission and objectives, delivering value to customers, and achieving desired outcomes. So an example would be an effectiveness review might evaluate a marketing campaign to see if it increased brand awareness and sales as intended, or assess a new product launch to determine if it met sales targets and customer expectations. So generally speaking, businesses do this themselves, but a lot of the time they will need an independent party to come in to confirm that the metrics and the results they establish at the beginning of a project have been actually fulfilled, because a lot of the times people internally can skew results to save their skin, but a lot of the time businesses will hire someone independently to make that assessment. And really all you're doing is you're taking the metrics they already established early on and assessing whether they have met those metrics or not. Basically, what you're trying to see is, did they achieve what they said they would go about early on within a project? Okay, did they go about achieving that and succeeding at that. And you want to take it a step further, you can actually make an assessment on whether their goals or targets were feasible to start off with or not, and reasonable, okay? Whether they may have been subpar, meaning that they had more capacity to actually achieve more. So you can actually also offer some insight on that. But again, it depends on the scope of your engagement with your client. All right. So to summarize, efficiency focuses on doing things right by minimizing waste and maximizing resource utilization. Economy focuses on spending wisely by obtaining resources at the best possible price. And effectiveness focuses on doing the right things by achieving business goals and delivering value to customers. So, any of these three reviews, okay, kinds of reviews, you can offer to your clients, and you can easily make $75,000 within 3 weeks. Now, I know that because I've done these in the past, in a previous life as a management consultant, okay? And it is one of the lowest barrier to entry, easiest ways to actually generate that much money in a short frame of time. Now, this does not include the time you're putting into actually prospecting and generating the lead and securing the business, but the actual field work will take exactly 3 weeks. That's all you need. And there's a couple of ways you can go about it, okay? Actually, 3 ways I'll give you. One, you can actually offer it as a self-assessment service, meaning that you can go to your client and you can offer them the self-assessment framework, and the framework is executed internally by their staff, and you're just there to coach the staff on conducting the assessment and making sure they do it right. So that's one way you can extend the service. The second way you can extend the service is a do it DIY, do it yourself. Well, I mean, no, do it yourself is basically the self-assessment, my bad. But you coming in and actually doing the service, so you're executing on behalf of the client, so you're going in and doing those 3 services. And then the third model is drop servicing, okay? And drop servicing is where you actually work on the sales side of things. So you secure the client, but you already have a consultant or 2 lined up to do the work on your behalf. And you have an agreement with these consultants where they get basically an agreed percentage off of the payout, or whatever way you work the pay wise. Now, the benefit of this is that it actually makes you focus on the selling while you actually load the work out to actual consultants, if you wish, if you are worried about the technical know-how. Although, if you focus on small to medium businesses and there isn't a sophisticated tech stack, okay, you should be fine doing this work on your own. You don't really need any particular educational background, and you don't need any sort of designations. There's no regulatory or legal requirements around this, okay? I mean, at the end of the day, it's just your reputation on the line, whether you fulfill the work or not. Typically, within firms, you're gonna see consultants with MBA backgrounds and people that actually studied a particular discipline field, but that's more for corporate accounts. But if you're working with small to medium businesses, honestly, if you're good at researching and budgeting, this is an easy way to break into that market. Like I said, the upside of this is great. You're making some people's salary in literally 3 weeks. And again, if you guys want the strategy behind this, the frameworks, how to structure your engagements, and even templates, leave me interested in the comment below, and I'll make an upload on this, okay? With that said, you guys, hopefully this has been helpful. As per usual, very much appreciate your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.